Have you ever looked around your home and wondered, how did I end up with all of this? For most of us, it's not because we have always been messy or disorganized. The reasons go way deeper than that. They are tied to the way we think, the way we live, and the world we live in. In this video, I'm going to share 10 reasons why everyone has so much stuff these days. Because I believe that by first understanding why we end up with so many possessions, it becomes so much easier to take steps toward living with less, if that's what you are aiming for. Let's get started. The first reason is we are wired for survival. Have you ever kept something just in case, even though you knew you would probably never use it? That might just be your survival instinct kicking in. Our ancestors lived in a world where resources like food, tools, or clothing were not guaranteed. Stocking up was essential to increase your chances of surviving until the next year. That scarcity mindset, shaped by evolution, helped them stay alive, and it is still hardwired into us according to many studies. Even in our world of abundance, when it comes to all this material stuff, our brains act as if things could run out at any moment. Stockpiling items, holding on to freebies, or saying yes to every hand-me-down from your family members might feel comforting. It's because it gives us a sense of security, even if it doesn't really make sense logically. This instinct becomes even stronger during uncertain times. Think, for example, about the rush to stock up on essentials during the early days of the COVID pandemic. People were not just buying, they were preparing for the unknown, much like our ancestors would. I think the difference was just that they stocked up on things like food and firewood, and we fought over toilet paper. For some of us, this goes even deeper and more personal. Maybe you grew up with less, or you have heard stories from your parents or grandparents about wartime or big financial struggles. That same mentality can stick with us, making it hard to let go of things because we fear being without them. Our brains are simply doing what they have always done, trying to protect us. But today those instincts can leave us with overflowing closets and cluttered homes, turning something that once reduced stress into something that creates it. The second reason is we live in a consumer-driven economy. Our economy thrives on one thing: consumption. Businesses need us to keep buying whether we actually need more stuff or not. Companies focus on profits often over sustainability or long-term value. They constantly create new versions of products, making the ones we already own feel somehow outdated or less valuable. This endless stream of new and improved keeps us chasing upgrades. And on top of that, we are surrounded by messages that buying is simply part of life. Think about it. Every holiday, every celebration, and even daily routines have been turned into opportunities to shop. And I don't think that it's just about the products themselves. Stores and brands make buying feel like an achievement. They have these discounts and loyalty programs and limited time offers that are designed to make you feel like a winner if you just grab that offer. All this makes daily consumption feel very natural, and when you pair this idea with the fact that working harder will earn you more to spend, you get caught up in this work to buy cycle. The third reason is things are cheaper, faster, and easier to get than ever. It has never been easier or faster to fill our lives with stuff. Companies are able to manufacture and produce items very quickly and in massive quantities, which then drives prices down. I think fashion and fast fashion is a good example of this. The clothes are often made to be cheap, trendy, and also quite disposable. So instead of encouraging people to buy more quality pieces, they are encouraging people to buy more frequently. And then of course we have online shopping, which has taken convenience to a whole new level. You can buy almost anything online, anytime, without even leaving your home. And I don't think that this is like a really bad thing. I think there are a lot of good things as well when it comes to this, but of course there are downsides as well. We have a system that is designed to remove all possible barriers to buying and make consumption feel effortless, so you don't even notice how quickly things are piling up. 4. We are exposed to more ads than ever before. Whether you are scrolling through social media, streaming your favorite show, or driving past billboards, advertising is nearly impossible to escape. In the 1970s, people saw around 500 to 1600 ads daily. Today, the average American is exposed to 4,000 to 10,000 ads every single day. That is such a massive amount that our brains screen out most of these ads to protect us, so you probably only remember a few of them each day. And ads don't just sell products anymore, they sell lifestyles. They promise that buying this thing will make you happier, more successful, or more fulfilled. They create desires you didn't even know you had. Today's ads are rarely generic or shown to just anyone. They are targeted specifically based on your preferences. Of course, this can be a good thing because you don't have to see all these ads of products you wouldn't buy anyway, but the downside is that seeing more and more products you are interested in makes it much harder to ignore the ads. 5. Social media fuels comparison and envy. Social media has completely changed how we see the world and also how we see ourselves. It's no longer just our neighbors or friends we compare ourselves to, it's millions of people from all over the world. And the more you scroll, the more you are exposed to things you didn't even realize you wanted or didn't even know that existed. Seeing so many different lifestyles, products, and experiences can make you feel like your life is missing something. These platforms can also showcase highly curated or polished versions of people's lives filled with perfect homes, dream vacations, and endless new purchases, of course, depending kind of who you choose to follow. But it's hard to not compare yourself to what you see and feel like you should have all these things as well. The 6th reason is shopping gives us a quick emotional high. Shopping isn't just about what you need, it's also about how that makes you feel. When you buy something new, your brain releases dopamine, which is the chemical linked to happiness and excitement. This same reward system ties back to our survival instincts. Just like our ancestors felt good when they found food or resources, we feel thrilled when we acquire something, even if it's just another pair of shoes or new phone. And many times the thrill doesn't just come from the item itself, but from the process of choosing and buying it. Browsing through options, picturing yourself using the product, and imagining how it might improve your life all build up to the moment of making the purchase, which can then feel incredibly rewarding even if you didn't actually need the item. For many, this feeling becomes a way to cope with stress, anxiety, sadness, or boredom. And these days, for some, shopping is also a social activity. Spending time with friends or family while going through different stores can create positive memories, making the act of shopping feel even more rewarding. But the downside is that this high doesn't last. After the initial excitement fades, you might find yourself wanting to buy something else to recapture that same feeling. It's a cycle that is easy to fall into, leaving you with more stuff, but no lasting happiness. 7. People tie status and self-worth to possessions. In many cultures, having more or owning expensive items is often viewed as being more accomplished or valuable. And this is not necessarily a new idea. In ancient times, wealth was displayed through land, livestock, or gold. These were things that signaled power and status within a community. Over time, this evolved, of course, with possessions like fine clothing, jewelry, and mansions, castles, all these things becoming symbols of success. And today, it's really no different. The markers of status have shifted to include things like luxury supercars, designer brands, and even very expensive high-end technology. But beyond status, material possessions can also be used to fill emotional gaps. When people feel insecure or lacking in other areas of life, buying something prestigious or very expensive can create a temporary sense of worth or accomplishment. The luxury, watch, diamond, and yacht industries thrive on this connection between possessions and self-worth. They don't market their products as like just items or things to buy, but as symbols of confidence and power. Owning them is not just about like practicality, I think it's very far from that, but it's about identity and being able to stand out from the crowd. So ultimately, this link between possessions and self-worth is a powerful driver of consumption because it encourages people to chase things they believe will reflect their value to the world, when in reality, these things don't define who they truly are. We express ourselves through what we own. Using physical possessions to express who we are is not a new concept either. It's something that humans have done throughout history. From the detailed tools and art of ancient civilizations to traditional clothing and home design, people have always used what they own to reflect their culture and individuality. Our personal clothing style is a very good example of this. The clothes we wear and the accessories we choose can reflect our personality, today's mood, and how we want to present ourselves to the world. Similarly, possessions can tie us to our community and create a sense of belonging. Traditional clothing, decorations, or items passed down through generations help us stay connected to our heritage and roots. And in this more modern society, things like band t-shirts, sports team jerseys, or other group-related items show our connection to a community or shared interest. And while there's not inherently wrong with any of this, because it's a natural part of being human, it's one key reason why we often end up with so much. 9. We have more free time than ever before. Unlike our ancestors, we no longer have to spend hours hunting, gathering, or farming just to meet our basic needs. Our society has been optimized in ways that make everything faster and more efficient, freeing up time that was once spent on survival. And at the same time, work hours have also decreased a lot over the last century. Long work weeks used to be the norm, where people work like 6 days a week in physically very demanding jobs just to make ends meet. And I don't think that it's just at work we have gained back hours. We have all these modern conveniences that reduce a lot of time that we used to spend, for example, on cooking or cleaning or grocery shopping. Everything can be done now so much quicker than in the past. With this extra time, many people turn to hobbies and activities that bring them joy and fulfillment, and I think that that is great. We are encouraged to explore our passions, whether it's crafting, painting, traveling, sports, or watching TV shows, only to pause mid-episode and think, wow, my big brother Pedro is really crushing it in this one. But all these things may require specific equipment, supplies, or devices, which often leads to buying and getting more things. And again, while there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, it does contribute to why many of us have our homes full of stuff. More free time doesn't just mean more nice experiences, it often means more possessions to go along with them. Reason 10, lack of decluttering and organization habits. So after all this buying and consuming, we live with more stuff than ever before. And it's a fact that many of us lack a system to manage it. Without regular routines for going through our belongings and letting go of what we no longer need, it is super easy for clutter to pile up. Even when people recognize that they have a problem with this, other barriers often get in the way. I think lack of time is one of the most common. Busy schedules leave little room for tackling the mess, and the thought of spending hours or even days sorting through piles of stuff can feel very overwhelming. For others, fear of regret or guilt over the money spent on items can make it difficult to let them go, even if they are no longer useful. I mean, imagine if you spend $300 on a designer bag. it can be very hard to admit that it no longer fits your style or that the last time you wore it was 6 years ago. And if you add to this the fact that this is just one case and you probably have like 75 similar cases of items that you have held on to for emotional reasons, it is no wonder that many avoid the task altogether. The result of this is that we end up being surrounded by things that weigh us down both physically and mentally. So not doing this decluttering process, I think, is a key reason why so many of us feel overwhelmed by the stuff we own. If you are in this situation, I have a lot of videos on my channel with simple tips to help you get started on decluttering and take back control. Because while there are many reasons we have so much stuff, I believe that there's always a way forward. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one.